I'm here with the 2022 refreshed Mazda CX-5 Turbo Signature. Has Mazda given its beloved best-selling CX-5 the attention it deserves to compete against its own brand new brother, the CX-50? Today, let's find out. Now, there aren't that many new additions for the 2022 refresh for the CX-5, and that's not a bad thing because it already did so much very, very well. We'll start with the exterior design. We'll start with the front end. These lights, they're a little bit CX-50. They're kind of like semi-ovals. Now we get to the centerpiece, the grille. The grille has a new design on it. Now it replaces kind of the mesh grille that was outgoing. Now it's almost like parentheses or brackets backed up against each other. It's kind of hard to describe. Then we have the large bezel that goes around at the bottom. Now this is chrome. You can see myself in the reflection here. This is much thicker than the old one. The old one was maybe about this thickness all the way around. Also new on the 2022 refresh is his bottom lip is reworked, redesigned. I'll step back so you can get a better look at it. Moving to the side profile, this Turbo Signature, this is the top of the line model. We have paint matched wheel arches. If you just get the standard Turbo, it will have black cladding around those wheels. So it definitely makes it look a little bit more German luxury in that regard to have those paint matched wheel arches. Now on the back, there are some changes as well with this refresh. The tailpipes appear to be a little bit bigger, which is definitely a welcome addition. We also have the plethora of Mazda badges. Signature all-wheel drive CX-5 on this side, Skyactiv G Turbo, two separate badges. We have brand new taillights on this refreshed model that match the front headlights and also are somewhat indicative of its brother, the CX-50. We also have a reworked bottom bumper. We're going to open up the cargo. Cargo has not changed. These, by the way, are the blinkers. They're full LED. They look great. Good amount of cargo capacity. It's not going to be the best in segment by any means. Lifting up this movable floor, yes, we have a large spare tire and that Bose subwoofer underneath. Bose sound system sounds okay in here. You can fold down the seats with these levers too. Even the middle lever will fold down that middle piece. Of course, the seats are pushed back just a little bit, and this kind of shows its compromise as a mid-size crossover. You just don't have a lot of room. You almost need to take off the headrest so this can fold down flat in order to have the amount of legroom you need for the front passengers. Getting into the back seat, it is a bit tight. I'm 6'1", my seat in front of me, even though softback is set up at 6'1" as well. Luckily, it's nice and comfortable to dig my knees into if I need to. There is a wood trim here with some high reflective chrome underneath. Much better touch points and higher quality, better fit and finish than the CX-50. There's no question here. Matte pockets on each side. We have vents here. It seemingly looks that we don't have any USB ports, but you fold down this excellent quality. Everything feels in here really, really good. You fold this down, not only do you have heated outboard seats, here are your chargers. The problem is if you have three people sitting across here, you're not going to be able to access those USB chargers. Headroom, have a lot of it here in this vehicle, and that's one of the benefits over the CX-50, which has a lower roof line. One last thing, you are able to recline these seats maybe an inch or so. Nothing game-changing, but at least you have that feature. Now get into the front seat, and this is what Mazda does really well in their vehicles. And that door slam was excellent, by the way. Just an overall very rich experience in here. The materials are excellent. The design is minimal yet opulent. We have that wood trim again that we saw in the back seat up here. Stitching across the dash is all soft touch. The screen looks great, high resolution. Unfortunately, I can't use my fingers to interact with it. I'm still hampered by the rotary dial here. The volume dial I do like, but the rest of the system here is very hard for me to work with, even though I've been in countless Mazdas over the past 2 years. I love the shifter. Shifter quality is great. We do have it surrounded by a ton of glossy black. You can probably see how easily it attracts dirt, oil, fingerprints, etc. This is new. We have Me Drive. We saw this on the CX-30 Sport, Normal, and Off-Road. We have a wireless charger up here. Unfortunately, when I put my phone in it, it does kind of like to slide off of this. This isn't the biggest lip to hold it in place. 12 volt, 120 watt. Accessory port here. Very excellent climate controls. We have heated seats, which I'm not going to use. Ventilated seats here in 90-degree Southwest Florida. Interesting, the steering wheel, the heated steering wheel button is adjacent. It's not in the same row or anything. You have to go up a little bit. And now that the ventilated seats are on, I'll be quiet, see if you can hear them. The quietness is gone with them, which isn't anything new. Now the GoPro's probably compensating for this, and this is something that I get on Mazdas every time I'm in one. The amount of reflective materials in their vehicles is blinding. Here, and here I can't even look at the steering wheel. So, and even on the edges, I'm getting blind. It's just, these are worse right in the middle. So Mazda, stop putting high reflective materials on your steering wheels, on your consoles, your trim. It's just awful. Steering wheel quality is good here. It feels a little bit thin in my hands, but it gets the job done. We do have paddle shifters to control the 6-speed automatic. No USB-Cs, but we do have another 12 volt and 2 USB-As here, additional storage in the armrest. Cup holder is great. I feel like it's in a good position. It doesn't inhibit me from getting to the controls I need, even though I have a big cup here. As in typical Mazda fashion, the rear view mirror is excellent quality, feels great, looks great, very slim bezels. And then there is your standard sunroof, no pano roof on this model. Sunglass holder, thank you. And we also have pretty high, let me show you this. We have a bifolding vanity mirror with an LED light above. I do love that feature. 360 camera in here. Average resolution, I would say. It gets the job done. And one last thing about the steering wheel before we check out the engine, I was able to get these buttons to function properly for presets. I've never had that in any other Mazda before. When I press the button down, it goes to my next preset. So I love that feature, that it's actually working here in this 2022 CX-5 as intended. But it's time to check out the engine. We're gonna pop up the hood real quick. Just like any modern Mazda, I typically scorch my fingers propping up their super heavy hoods. Luckily, we have some soft touch here to not only dampen the closing of the hood, but it also insulates your fingers from getting scorched when you open this hood up. Underneath, no surprise, the tried, the true, the 2.5 liter Skyactiv G Turbo with 256 horsepower now and a little over 320 pound-feet of torque. We get a slight upgrade. Now that's if you put 93 octane on here. Most of us with high gas prices are probably happy to put the good old 87. It'll return decent enough fuel economy. I'm getting about 27 miles per gallon on regular fuel here. Made it to the 6-speed automatic transmission. Nothing new, just a slight tune to give it a little bit more punch, but it's time to start driving the refreshed CX-5. All right, Me Drive is on sport right now, and we're gonna torque brake it to whatever it lets me to, which is about 3,000 and go. a little torque steer there. We'll get there, we'll get there. There's 60. It's pretty hot out here. 0 to 60 in 8.27 seconds. That is way slower than I was expecting. Why was it that slow? It's hard to say. We'll do it again later. I know this vehicle can probably crack 7, but again, I'm almost positive that there is 87 octane in here. The car comes with a full tank of gas when it arrives on my doorstep, and they only fill it to, or what Mazda recommends, which is 87 for this vehicle. So this vehicle produces around 225 horsepower or so on 87. We're gonna pass this little truck here. I'm just gonna hammer down, and that's where this vehicle, peak horsepower is not the name of the game of this engine, and never has been for Mazda. This thing pulls like a truck. It has so much low down torque, and it feels so good. It has much more usable power than most engines out there. I'm gonna slam on the brakes in now. The brake feel is excellent here in this Mazda, and I'm just gonna floor it again from a stop here and go. And I know I'm not gonna do anything too crazy because this is all-wheel drive, right? So that was 7.99, not even going in a straight line. So I know we can do better than the 8 point something that we did earlier, but I'm gonna put it back into normal mode so we're not hanging out at around like 3,000 RPMs out here on the highway. Now, while this vehicle is excellent while driving on the highway, I don't have a lot of road noise or wind noise. It's pretty good overall. In town, it's not quite as smooth. It's a little bit more bumpy. You can feel how the suspension is tuned more towards the sporty end. And just like the CX-50, this vehicle's steering is excellent. There is so much firmness that you typically don't see in SUVs. So the firmness is excellent with the steering feel, especially at lower speeds in town. But it even feels good out here on the highway. And when I passed that truck earlier, that work truck earlier, the steering felt excellent and inspiring enough. This is another great area to do a quick 0 to 60. It's not perfectly flat. There's some undulations up and down just a little bit to channel the heavy rains that we get here in South Florida. Again, torque brake to about 3,000 and go. That was a better pull there. The shifts aren't that fast, but they are satisfying. They're 60. So 705, yeah, that's about right. I was expecting around 7 seconds, perfect conditions, ideal conditions. You're doing under 7. Are you ever gonna notice those extra 6 horsepower? No, and most of the time people who buy this vehicle are not putting premium in it all the time. Maybe if you're doing long highway trips where you don't have to stop as often for gas because you'll be getting like 30 miles per gallon on the highway instead of like 26, 27. Driving the CX-5 on the way home, and these seats are not comfortable at all. They're like rock hard. They said they made some revisions to them for the 2022 model year, but my butt can't tell the difference. And just the bolstering on the bottom part of the cushion is like a boulder on each side. So not comfortable in here, and I think that's a point definitely towards the CX-50. But there's not much else to say about the CX-5. We have revised headlights, taillights, front bumper, rear bumper. We have this turbo top of the line, this signature that has paint matched wheel arches. The interior, we don't have a lot of updates here. You can see my Android Auto working, no problem, but it is wired. Oh my gosh, that just looked like cardboard. It is cardboard, but that made an awful noise. If you plan on taking adults for long trips in this vehicle, this is not the right vehicle because you're just limited with that rear leg space back there. Do I think it's a better vehicle than the CX-50? I do. And you know, it's not much better. The CX-50 provides a little bit more space. It's a wider, longer vehicle, just a tiny bit more legroom in the back, I would say. I prefer the looks of this CX-5. Oh, I'm gonna do a U-turn here. I prefer the looks of the CX-5 over the CX-50. I prefer the interior fit and finish and overall quality materials better in this vehicle. I prefer how this drives. Oh, and one last thing, that CX-50 has a torsion beam in the back, which Mazda's torsion beam isn't bad, but I'm telling you, this multi-link on the CX-5, when I throw this in the turns, where I'm driving this vehicle 100% of the time, it feels better. When I'm driving it hard, it feels better out on the road. It's less harsh than the CX-50 and just normal driving. So CX-5 still gets the cake for me, but if you want something maybe a little bit more outdoorsy and something with just different looks, it has more of that wagon Subaru look on the CX-50 compared to this, you know, more tight, perky, taller, traditional crossover vehicle. But I'm gonna end it there, guys. I'll see you guys down below. What do you prefer, the CX-5 or the CX-50? When I drove the CX-50, I knew that I liked this vehicle better, even though I hadn't test driven the 2022 refresh. It's essentially the same vehicle. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for more Mazda news and reviews. I can't wait for the large platform vehicles from Mazda to come, like the CX-70 and the CX-90. Those are definitely going to take them into that premium, probably Volvo-esque area of refinement, performance, and price as well. But I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you in the next one. Signing out from the 2022 Mazda CX-5 Signature Turbo. Have a good day. Take care of yourselves and peace out.